All right, greetings from the dark continent. Conscious Caracal here, or Adams van Sail, here to shine a light on the goings on down south. And I was supposed to do a solo stream here tonight, but I'm going to have a guest here. Let's see how it goes. If he's naughty, I'll put him away. Let's see if he behaves. Then he can. Otherwise, I'm going to kick him off the stream. All right. Welcome everyone. First show of 2023. I hope you all are well rested. Hope you had a good holiday. I hope you also had a. I hope you also had a refreshing holiday and ready for the year ahead. And specifically tonight's question or theme is going to be the year ahead, and then also New Year's resolutions. What are you planning for the year ahead? What resolutions did you make? Did you make any promises to yourself or to family or friends? Something that you're going to try and achieve in 2023. Let's get to that here tonight. See, Hendo is here. Dagbreker says mal oor die geleide. Welkom terug, Erns. Welkom terug, Dagbreker. Dankie dat jy inskakel. Ek sien Bradley Murray is hier so evening all. All right. Like I said, if he's making too much noise or if he is distracting me too much, I'm going to remove him from the lobby. He's not going to be part of the stream anymore. All right. So before we begin, if you have any questions regarding 2023, anything you want me to have answered, or also if you have any New Year's resolutions that you want to share with me, put them in the chat. Let's see what you guys have planned or what you have dedicated yourselves to or committed yourselves to in the year ahead. Unfortunately, I'm already taken for him. Yeah, I know he's just he's indebted. Very long story how he got Kroppie. But maybe one day on a chill stream I'll give you the background. I see 900T16 is here. Hello CC, happy new year, all the best. Thank you very much. And then also RT Panday. Good evening all and happy 2023. Thank you very much. Reinier de Toy is also here. Goeienaand Erns voorspoed vir 2023. Baie dankie Reinier. All right. So what I wanted to start off with is firstly, let's, like I said, the theme is New Year's resolutions. The theme is what is lying ahead in 2023. Like I said, you're welcome to share your New Year's resolutions if you have any here tonight as well. I'm going to start off with just some of mine as it pertains more to the broader picture. I'm not going to be talking about small things like eating more healthy, just exercising more, reading more. Those are the basic stuff. So when it comes to the bigger picture and what I want to achieve, my first New Year's resolution was to focus more on the things that matter. Now, this has been my New Year's resolution last year as well, along with quitting smoking. But what I mean by focusing on the things that matter is that there's a lot of things specifically online that can distract you. Debates on social media, internet drama, all these things that are very big dopamine sources, and they suck you in, but you don't really at the end of it, when it's all done, you're not sitting there with an end product. You just enjoyed a little bit of escapism or just a little bit of enjoyment, but you didn't really produce anything, you didn't create anything, you didn't help anyone. So I'm going to be trying my best to refrain more from those types of activities, like, for example, engaging in meaningless debates or caring too much about internet drama around us and all small little trivial things, and focusing more on creating things, writing more, making a more of a tangible difference again in the world around me. I see 900. I keep reading 800. Asks, are you still smoke-free from last year's resolution? We're eating only vegetables grown from the garden this year. Well, yes, I am. I did smoke one cigar while I was in South Tyrol, but it was a diplomatic gesture, so I couldn't refuse. And you say you were eating only vegetables grown from the garden this year. Excellent. That's we're trying to grow as many vegetables ourselves as well. Murgut says, good morning from Colorado. Good morning. Future conflict say, who's it? Future conflict? Victor Schmidt says his resolution is to buy batteries and inverters. Well, Um, and the future conflict also says, yeah, I like a bit of drama as long as I'm the one with the popcorn. Well, I think you can indulge a little bit. I don't think you have to. We all need our vices. All right. Like I said, for all the guys tuning in now that weren't here from the beginning, if you have any New Year's resolutions that you want to share with me, put them there in the chat. So that was my first one. Second one is more of a personal one, but also it will probably factor into my work and what I create. And that is to go a little bit more with my gut, have a little bit less caution, try a little bit more experimental stuff when it comes to ideas, or what I write, what I try to create. Take some risks, more risks. Not that I haven't taken any risks. But yeah, and like Future Conflict says, yeah, some things are just guilty pleasures, absolutely. So yeah, those are the two things that I think broadly that I want this year's themes to be. Another theme, which is not a resolution, but something that I have that I think will define 2023 to a large degree, not just in South Africa, but also abroad in the wider Western world, is a growing. Sideline Opinion asks, does the bird have a name? Yes, his name is a kroppie, which means his crop. Because when he was little, when we were raising him, he always had this massive crop of food. It looked quite silly. So right, and that theme that I see emerging in 2023 is definitely the theme of a growing frustration with merely people that criticize or people that can diagnose what's the problem in society around us. I think a lot of people can do that to varying degrees, but that's not going to be enough in 2023. The theme and the sentiment that I see pop up, and the sentiment that I see emerging, is that it's not enough just to diagnose the problems. We've had since 2015 ample supply of people diagnosing the problem, sometimes wrong, sometimes right, but not a lot of suggestions on how to solve the problem, really. No real suggestions. And I'm going to get a bit more into vague, abstract suggestions, which we actually have plenty of. I see here American Popular says the bird is a nice addition. We'll see if he remains an addition, if he behaves himself during this episode. So far, he's doing all right. George Williams says, I thought the bird would be a conscious birdie. No. He's just a regular, not a conscious bird. All right. So on that note of people wanting more, not just critiques and diagnostics, there is this focus on people wanting alternative solutions, because that's the other side of the coin. There are solutions out there for the problems that we face in our society today, in our societies, I should rather say. The problems that we face in South Africa are often quite different from what you would face in the US or in Europe. But the solutions that have been proposed don't seem to be working, the ones that actually have been tried. Just the pure battle of ideas doesn't seem to be bringing us closer to truth. It doesn't seem to be really bringing the masses on our side. It doesn't seem to be convincing millions and millions of people. The battle of ideas is there's state intervention in the battle of ideas, and we've seen that with the Twitter files now. It isn't the free marketplace. It probably never has been. And another thing that I also think is quite important to see is the fact that we can't just have simple solutions to the problems that we face, because the problems that we face are complex problems. Whether I mean, that's the last thing you want to hear. We've come to this point where, and I don't think it's happened recently. It's actually been going on for quite a few decades. This almost like common knowledge that if you can't explain something simply, then it's not, you don't understand it. Or if you don't have a simple solution that everyone can understand, then it's not a good solution. This sentiment has permeated a lot of discussions, and I don't think it's necessarily the right way to go about it. Like I said, we live in a complex world. We face complex problems. And you're not going to solve complex problems, always be able to solve them with simple solutions. Sometimes the solutions are going to be complex and difficult. I don't think it's wise to continue down this path where we've gotten to a point where solutions are disregarded merely by the flaw of being complex and not immediately graspable by everyone, like in a 5-minute little video, little animation video. If you can't explain your solution for the problem in a TikTok, then it's not worth listening to that solution or trying that solution. That's kind of the vibe that I've picked up recently, and I don't think that's the right path. Sometimes the solutions are going to be complex, and we must be willing to try those complex solutions, not just to go and hide in the comfort of the simple solutions, because the simple solutions are just the free market solves everything. Simple solutions like if something is a social ill, we just ban it, or social solutions like if we just eliminate all culture and language, then and religion, there will be no more conflict. These type of simple solutions. With lockdowns, how do you stop COVID? Oh, you just lock down the entire society. See where simple solutions get us. You see where this philosophy of, if you can't explain it simply, and if you can't condense it down to a little factoid or a little sound bite, then it's not worth it being tried or being considered. You see how dangerous that is. I think we've seen that now in the past few years, where people just gravitate towards the simple solutions. Sideline opinion says the bird Kroppy as a class act looks completely at home in an intellectual discussion. Well, I don't know how much he's taking in, but maybe he just can't. Maybe he's just hiding his power level. So yeah, that's one of the thoughts that I had over the holidays, was just the war on complex solutions. Let me put it that way: the stigmatization of complex solutions. Another thing that I think, while we are on the topic of New Year's resolutions, that I think is also something that I actually, in my Happy New Year messages to a lot of my friends, and also in my Christmas messages to a lot of family and friends, many of them I told that I hope they are blessed with many challenges in 2023. That might sound counterintuitive. That might sound counterproductive. Who wants challenges? Why I should be blessed? Saying that I hope they're blessed with prosperity, and with easy, no struggle, and easy going. And I hope that you have smooth sailing and the wind is in your sails in 2023. That's the classic wish or blessing. But no great sailor, no calm sea has ever made a great sailor. That's actually why I chose one of the thumbnails for the stream as a ship in a storm. Because we are heading into turbulent times. We are in turbulent times in a certain extent already. And we're going to need good sailors and cool heads and experienced helmsmen during this time. The only way you create those types of people is through struggle, through hardship, through disappointment, through challenges. And through overcoming those challenges, you learn and you improve and you grow. You don't learn or improve or grow just through winning and winning. You don't learn or improve or grow just through constant success. You learn and grow and develop and become an excellent sailor or helmsman or boat captain through hardship and experience, through challenges. And that's what the type of message that I wanted to send going into 2023, because I think there's a lot of challenges on the horizon, not just for us in South Africa, for the people in Europe, people in America, people all across the world. I think are going to have I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy, but I think 2023 is unfortunately going to be a tough year for many people. And during this time, it's imperative that you keep the perspective that overcoming challenges is how you grow as a person. I become stronger. Hendo says no simple solutions to complex problems leads to disasters. Absolutely. Sideline opinion says very few people nowadays are prepared to enter discussion of complicated, sensitive topics. Small talk about the royals are dominating the discourse. Well, that's been a problem for a long while, where people just get, what? Where people just get completely distracted by little gossip stories, getting distracted by internet drama as the latest version of that. I mean, there's no problem if you're enjoying these things, as we said earlier, as little guilty pleasures or now and then a little bit of vice in that regard. But you can't have them consume your life. You can't spend an entire weekend just following some internet disaster or some internet drama. It's a bit degenerate. Be Smart says, I think a lot of deep conversations have been opened. Well, I hope so. Drew Perot or Perrot, I don't know if you're Australia, there's probably not Perot, but anyway, says, don't pray for a life without trouble, pray for the strength to overcome. Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's the big thing. So I hope not only that you have many challenges in 2023, I hope that you are blessed with the strength and determination to overcome those challenges. That's what's important. And yeah, no, through that overcoming is, like I said, how you grow. So that was one of the, like I said, this stream I'm going to be using not only to discuss a little bit of New Year's resolutions, but also some of the thoughts in the meantime since the last stream that we had, some of the thoughts that that we've had or that I've had. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on those because I'm still developing many of these thoughts. And it always helps when you can have some feedback from people on it. So on that note, if you just joined, remember, or if you have any questions regarding the year ahead, anything that's already happened in 2023, you can put that in the chat. You can also share your New Year's resolutions with me, and I'll gladly discuss them as well. So if you have them, you don't have to think some up on the spot now. You could if you wanted to. All right. So let's see. Peter van der Linde says, small things amuses small minds. This is the reality of the solutions currently being offered to large issues. Absolutely. Look at some of the solutions that the ANC propose. I mean, where do we start? 2022, my favorite ANC solution proposed in 2022 was we're going to build ESCOM 2. We're just going to build another ESCOM. That's how we're going to fix the rolling blackouts. We build another state power utility. That's how we're going to solve it. See, simple solutions. Simple. It's so simple. How do we solve corruption? Well, the ANC says we're going to declare war on corruption. That's their solution in 2023. We're going to declare war on corruption. The implication being that for the past 29 years or almost 30 years that they've been the ruling party, that they've been at peace with corruption, only now are considering declaring war on corruption. Yeah, in those smart cities populated by stupid people. That's where that road leads. Yeah, so see where simple solution. The ANC is the ANC are the masters of simple solutions. How do you solve unemployment? We're just going to create jobs harder. That's how we're going to solve it. That's the ANC line. It's the perfect example of just, well, firstly, simple solutions, and also just this cargo cultism, as I've discussed on this channel. Cargo cultism, you can, if you want to go read what I've written about that, you can just search on Google the contemporary cargo cult at the southern tip of Africa on Politics Web. Hindo, if you have a moment, if you can put that link in the chat, I'd appreciate it. So there's two pieces, I think, but if you just, the first one is the most important one, the contemporary cargo cult at the southern tip of Africa on Politics Web. But I'll give you a little bit of a rundown. So the cargo cult phenomenon is where you have these tribes. I always forget where they are. They're somewhere, I think, in Polynesia or somewhere. I always forget the region of the ocean where they are. But it's these very primitive tribes. And when they first encountered, I think during the Second World War, there was a military base built on their island. And they saw all these planes landing, their military planes dropping off cargo. And then they saw what was happening there, and they put one and two together. So they started building out of sticks and stones, radar towers and planes and a little mock airport out of mud and sticks and stones. And then they waited because they've done the ritual. They see the people down there do the ritual, planes come down, give them prosperity, and the planes fly away. So, how do you get that prosperity? You do the ritual. So, they do the ritual, and of course, it doesn't work. Um, but there's a lot of that you see in the ANC as well. How do you, for example, bring prosperity? You just have to listen to the ANC for when Cyril Ramaphosa does his State of the Nation address. What does he say? We're going to build smart cities that are going to have bullet trains and skyscrapers. You see what I mean? Putting the cart before the horse. It's the type of logic of seeing a successful businessman and you say, well, he wears expensive suits. Therefore, if I wear expensive suits, I will be I'll become a successful businessman. You see. So what the ANC, and there are different factions within the ANC. Some of them are not idealists. They have no intention of trying to make the country better. But there are idealists within the ANC that actually try and fail because their ideology is just absolutely horrible and destructive and outdated and a Cold War relic. The NDR is laughable ideology. But anyway, so the idealists within the party think, well, what do the successful first world countries have? Oh, they have skyscrapers and they have bullet trains and they have renewable energy. So how are we going to become successful countries? Oh, if we build skyscrapers and bullet trains and just rush into renewable energy and turning off our coal power plants and just not investing in cheap electricity sources during an electricity crisis that's been going on for 14 years. That's cargo cultism. Cargo cultism is when the ANC puts a carbon tax or pushes carbon taxes while South Africa is a tiny contributor relatively to countries like China and India to pollution or gases or whatever, or CO2 contributor, but we can't even keep the lights on. But we're doing the carbon taxes, guys. That means we're doing what the successful countries are doing, and that means we're going to be successful. You see? American Popular said, build smart cities that can't maintain roads that exist now. Now that you say that, remember last year, the big story of last year was these donkey carts that the ANC, the government, South African government subsidized in the Northern Cape. Donkey carts that broke down within 2 weeks and they had maintenance plans. Just if you don't believe me, just search that. South African donkey carts with maintenance plans. And some carder or some politically connected guy probably got the tender, created some cheap donkey carts, and they paid millions or hundreds of thousands. I can't remember exactly, like it was a ridiculous amount of money for them. They broke down. So in the smart cities in South Africa in the future you're going to be riding through the smart city on your government subsidized donkey cart. That's the future of South Africa. That's thinking big. Yeah. John E. Martins says, happy to see decentralization policies of the Cape Exit Party documented 15 years ago having seeped through to political parties and voters all across South Africa. Just makes sense to remove power from central government to devolve power down. High time after 112 years of centralized overbearing bureaucracy. Well, that's been the model in South Africa for more than 100 years. You're absolutely correct. Centralized government, centralization didn't start in 1994. It started way back. Started over 100 years ago with the Union of South Africa. In some aspects before that even. So let's see. There was sideline opinion says China is building more coal-powered power stations than the rest of the world combined. Yes, but nobody's looking at that. All right. Peter van der Linde says, cart before the horse analogy. These items are probable, just not with the existing political will and current ineffective political masters. All right. So another thing that I wanted to talk about, a main theme in 2023, was the idea of this is the year where I don't waste time with non-serious, where I stop wasting time with non-serious people. Unfortunately, for the past almost decade now, many people, through the miracle of the internet, the amazing opportunities that were given to us provided by the internet, a lot of good thinkers and intellectuals and leaders even have been able to come to the fore. They've built audiences. Some of them had great ideas, some of them not. Some of them crashed and burned. Some of them are still around. Some of them just disappeared all across the world, in South Africa, in Europe, in America. But I want to focus on the fact that a lot of them crashed and burned or just disappeared. A lot of them, their potential was just wasted. I remember, the big frustration for me is encountering or seeing someone that has genuine potential to be a community leader, to make a difference, to be a great writer, to amass an audience that they can use for good, to inspire people to get out there and be active and make a difference in their communities. And they just waste all that potential on chasing clout or getting wrapped up in internet drama, chasing money, trying to caress and inflate their egos, getting into fights and burning bridges out of ego or other paranoia or whatever, or just lacking in restraint. The lacking in restraint comes back to my New Year's resolution. This is actually something that I think is very important this year, and that is to have restraint when it comes to things. For example, like if there's some small tiny account that's called Mark1257305, like a long number, like a number account with just a burner account that was made, 0 followers like 3 people. They come into your comment section on YouTube or on Twitter, reply to your tweet like, I don't know, something stupid like you suck or you're wrong, something stupid like that. I see too many people with 300,000 followers or millions of followers, people that are highly respected, that have a lot of people that read their work, enjoy their work, see that tiny little no profile picture, no description burner account and just lose their minds. They just get into a war with this little 0 follower burner account called Mark or Steven1750 for like the clearly just throwaway accounts. It doesn't achieve anything. Well, firstly, to use the internet lingo, it's very cringe, and you're playing chess with a pigeon. No offense. He's just going to drag you down to his level. He's going to knock over all the pieces, shit on the board, and then he's going to strut around like this guy and pretend like he won. Well, you didn't achieve anything. And I'm talking specifically about people that have very big audiences, people that have an impact in the world around them. Hey, he's angry now that I use the pigeon analogy. And they just waste their time. They just waste their time fighting with little tiny accounts or freaking out and raging about trolls in their comment section. Like, I understand if you're just some regular guy and you don't like the fact that someone left a mean comment on your YouTube video or told you suck or in your reply section. But I feel if you have built an audience and you have influence in the world and you have people that look up to you and people whose opinions and worldview and perspectives are influenced by what you say and do, there needs to be a level of responsibility, that you're not just behaving like a child, that you leave these little ego stuff behind and not to get bogged down with that type of stuff. Because it's absolutely an ego thing. It's absolutely an ego thing where you see these people with massive audiences and massive platforms and people that have done great things and achieved great things just get into a petty Twitter fight with just little tiny accounts that are often created because they know if you push this person's buttons, they're going to go off like that. And the solution is not like Jordan Peterson said, where now anon accounts or these little burner accounts or anonymous accounts are the problem. That's not the problem. The problem is that you don't have restraint when it comes to people mocking you or criticizing you or just teasing you online. And Volganti Freebus says it best. He says there's a lot of crazy people on the internet. Remember that. Yeah. Dagbreker says, I hate it. You're correct, Ernst. That's the thing. There's people that are going to obsess about you and make it, if they can see, they can rouse you to. I can guarantee you now, if you're someone with the platform of Jordan Peterson or someone that has like millions of followers, you're one of the most famous people in the world. If you show the entire world that all it takes is one little comment, one little jab in your comment section to make that person go off, to make you go off and just go into a rage, you're going to encourage millions of people to want to try and get their little moment in the sun, to try and get you to quote tweet them or to reply to them. So you're going to be creating exactly what you're trying to stop, or the thing that you're trying to avoid, by just jumping into the mud with the little pigs. There's a lot of people out there that will make it their mission to push your buttons if they know they can. American Populist said, if you're a certain lobster, you demand all people. Yeah, well, that's, I mentioned that earlier, yeah. Mark Mayberg says, learn to take it from whence it comes. So that's one of the things I've been able to do that much less. Hey, you are not behaving. See, these are the type of little accounts that you shouldn't let them get the best of you. This is what they do. But look at this little pigeons doing. This is the game they want to play with you. And you see, when it gets attention, it just does it more. It's now going to do that for a while now. See, because I've given it attention. So where was I? Yeah. So that's what I'm going, just to finish off and to bring it back to my resolution to tie it all back. When it comes to what I want to do less in 2023 is to do less of those little things. And I've been able in the past 2 or 3 years to wean myself off quite a bit from just engaging in conversations and debates and things that don't matter, or with people that are genuinely mentally unstable. And I'm going to do that more in 2023. It's been an incredible boost to my focus. I'm focusing on the things that I need to. It's a great energy boost. Makes me feel a lot better than just being angry all the time because mean commenter 1969 420 said that he doesn't think you're correct about, I don't know, democracy or whatever. Just a final note, because earlier this was such a good comment by Volganti. You say there's a lot of crazy people on the internet. Remember that. Absolutely. And there are a lot of people, there are a lot of evil people as well. People who thrive on just getting people they hate to try and hurt them, to try and defame them. And a lot of these accounts and people have created entire audiences just based on the fact that they get a reaction from people by being either stupid or inflammatory or provocative. And you maybe just to show a little bit of restraint by not giving those people the attention that they so crave. And I think then a lot of them might not even have existed now if more people followed that strategy. But yeah, that's my thoughts on that resolution. I hope it gave you some ideas, because there's another thing that I wanted to talk about. There's a lot of actually on this list, and I hope I get to all of this. Let's see. Hey. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about, almost on the notes of non-serious people, but it's the idolization of the act. This is not my idea. I read about it here. 1 second. From a much smarter man than me. Much smarter. Wait, let me just give some space so you can see. Liberale Nationalisme deur MP van Wyk Louw. A book that I've praised quite a bit, and a writer and philosopher I've praised quite a bit. And he writes in Liberale Nationalisme, he writes about the verafgoding van die daad. Now in English, it directly translates to the idolization of the act, but it's not as precise as the verafgoding van die daad. Verafgod means to make a god, a false god of something. So the making of turning, to give a more accurate translation, turning the action into a false god. Now, let me elaborate a little bit on that. What does he mean by that? So MP van Wyk Louw, what he means by, by the idolization of the act, he's talking about, and I'm going to give you an example, and as soon as I give this example, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Those people that say, when someone does something stupid, or they do something that's destructive, but they doing something, you get these people that say, well, at least they're doing something. At least they're doing something. And it is another example. It's been enough talk. We have all these people that just write, people that just debate. We need people of action. You've heard that before. It's nothing new. It's a thing that we hear through the ages. MP van Wyk Louw, almost 100 years ago, or 75 years ago, writes about exactly these types of people. Say, we need people of action, people that take action, not writers and debaters and intellectuals and thinkers. We need people that take action. So there's two types of people that I want to talk about. And what are these examples that I'm giving are the people that are idolizing the act, making a false god of the act. Doesn't matter what people do, they just need to do something, as long as they take action. See? So there's two types of people, two types of, is it idolaters? What's the English word? There's two types of idolaters, or people that that worship the false god of the act. The first type of person is the vague advocate. So the guy that says, oh, I see Yiz is here, glad to be here. And she says, Happy New Year and God bless everyone. Well, thank you very much, Yiz. I really appreciate it. Sharon Westphal says, stop net vir 'n oomblik om hallo te sê. Hello, Sharon. Hoop dit gaan goed. Yes. So Feyenoord says, idolater. Yes. So the idolaters of the act. First type of these types of people is the vague advocate. So he says, we need to take action. There's too many people that just write and talk. We need people to take action. And then you ask him, what type of action? I don't know. Someone needs to think of something, but there needs to be action. So he's vague, doesn't have a plan. He just wants to see action. He's a lot more innocent than the second type that I'm going to name. So the first type is the vague and abstract advocate of action, the preacher and the disciple of action. He's like, there needs to be action. Anyone that just writes and debates is worthless. There needs to be action. But when pressed on what that type of action would look like, he doesn't really have an idea. He just knows there needs to be action. That's the first type. Doesn't really help, because if you don't have an idea, you can't just advocate action. That action might be something destructive, might be something stupid, might be something degenerate, might be something horrible, might be something evil. Action can take a lot of forms. That's the first one. Second one's a bit more insidious. And the first one is more of a case of forgive them, Lord, for they do not know what they do. It's the debate between ignorance and malice. Second one is malicious. The second one is evil. The second type of idolater of action is the person that knows what he is advocating. He is advocating an action, but he's too cowardly to say what type of action. So this is the type of person that says there needs to be action. Enough talk, people need to start taking action. And when you press him and ask, what is this type of action? He says, you know what I'm talking about. I can't talk here. You know what happens to people that mention these types of things. He knows what he's advocating. He's advocating something illegal. He's advocating violence. He's advocating destruction. He's advocating things that are going to get people in trouble. Not himself, other people. That's the evil other side of the coin of the idolater of action. The person that is, there's a little bit of a subversion of that person. Hey, there's a subversion of that person that, not subversive, but subversion, a version below it, that actually advocates these types of evil things, but doesn't do them themselves. So they advocate it. Hey, you're not behaving. You're being violent. You're taking action, and it's not good. So yet, but I'm going to talk about them as the same type of person. It's the type of person that's either too cowardly to even state what type of action he is advocating, because it will get him in trouble. He will get probably accused of incitement to violence, or of incitement to commit a crime, or incitement to terrorism, those types of people. And then the other type of this type that actually advocates those things, but is not willing to do them themselves. But that's the thing. Yeah, Sideline Opinion says proxy violence, it seems. Yeah. And those are the types of people that I'm not going to have any patience for in 2023, or any tolerance for. I don't know. I'm not going to give them the time of day. People that have a little bit more patience with the man coming from ignorance, that advocates action but doesn't really know what type of action. He just wants to see action. That's fine. Maybe my advice to them would be to stop and reflect, and think about what type of action they have in mind. But yeah, less of a problem with them. The type of person that I have a serious problem with, that I'm not going to mince words about, is the evil type of cowardly advocate that advocates action, but is not willing to do it themselves, or doesn't even have the balls to name the action that they are advocating. American Populist, absolutely right. Is the second type is a favorite tactic of bad actors. Yeah, bad actors, and just the morally bankrupt and the cowardly. Don't advocate an action that you're not willing to take yourself. That's my message for 2023. And the types of people that do that, I'm not going to have patience with. They want people to do. They are advocating certain types of acts that they can't even bring themselves to say in public, because they fear the consequences of merely advocating these types of acts, not even talking about committing them. And the only thing that the idolization of the act accomplishes is that thousands of young men end up dead or rotting in prison, while those who egg them on sit comfortably at home. That's the serious note for 2023. That more of a little more of a serious resolution, where the types of people that I will not be tolerating are those idolaters of the act. It's no problem if you advocate action, but that action needs to be virtuous. That action needs to be something that you're willing to do yourself. That action needs to be something that actually helps the cause, not something destructive. All right. Mark Mayberg is absolutely right. Too many people with too much time commenting on things they know little about. Well, yeah, that's the thing. So yeah, here's my three. Let's see. Actually, I didn't make a note about this, but I want to. There's a good example. In South Africa, Julius Malema incites violence, advocates violence, incites violence against minorities, but he's asking his supporters to do that. He doesn't commit it himself. He says his supporters should be willing to kill for the revolution. It's cowardly. It's thuggish, and it's a coward that does that hides behind just words, that is not willing to do what he advocates. He sends in his supporters. No time, no patience with those types of people. So, I'm just making a note here because I actually have a good way of summing it up now. Absolutely right. Hey, you're going last warning, and then I'm kicking you from the stream. Volganti says, but drinks wine and dines with Rupert. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the three things that I'm using as my, hey, I'm warning you, the three things that I'm using as my three pillars of my resolutions for 2023 is firstly, restraint in regards to not doing or, hey, okay. Hey, he needs to learn restraint. Restraint in regards to not getting involved in petty little debates or wasting my time on things that are not having a real world impact or really making a difference where I'm actually being able to help people. And restraint in regards to not wasting my time on just needless escapism, actually focusing on things that matter, things that are important. And the things where I can see I'm making a tangible difference. That's the first thing in regards to restraint. Show the character. Oh, yeah. No, that would be a bit cruel. Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It's just a little distracting. So he's playing. He's not being mean. He's not being like aggressive. He wants attention, but he's just playing with my hair and a little bit with my ear. So and yeah, like I said, it's more the distraction of it. Hey. Yeah. All right. So see, if I give him a little attention, then he's fine. And see, and now he's gonna go again. So anyway, stream is almost done. He can do his little picking until I'm done. Hey, you're getting distracting, really distracting now. All right. Anyway, so the first pillar is now everyone's distracted by him. Now no one's paying attention to my pillars for 2023 and my what I'm suggesting we should focus on. Okay, but that leads me into my second pillar and focus and resolution for 2023, and that is the resolution of focus. So focusing on the task at hand, what needs to be done, what needs to be focused on, and what needs to be achieved in 2023. What are the things that are really important? So restraint in regards to not being getting into petty fights, not restraint in regards to not just getting lost in escapism, but and then that restraint leads also to focusing on the things that are important, the things that I can see make a tangible difference, and the things where I can see I'm growing and where I'm improving. So those are the two things. And then lastly is the rejection of the idolatry of the act, as MP van Wyk Low wrote about. The rejection of simply saying, do something, take action. Firstly, you have to say what type of action. Secondly, if it's illegal, violent, destructive, you first, not your followers or other people. That's the thing. Action inspires action. But anyway, everyone's just focused on the bird now. I'm trying to make a serious last point on the first stream of 2023, and he's a little troll demon. He's what did he call them? Lols the mentors. I can't remember. He used very strange terminology, troll demons and lols the mentors, or something like that. This guy is a troll demon and a lols the mentor. Right. So, what is also important is that with that last thing is no patience and the rejection of no patience with and people that are I, I'm struggling with this word. Um, Idolaters of the act and to reject idolatry of the act, idolizing of the act, the false god of the act. Um, and yeah, so those are the three things that I want to do this year. And what's also important, I think, just to add a final thought there, when it comes to what everyone else can also do. I'm talking about what I'm focusing on. You're welcome to focus on the same things, but also you know best what you want to achieve this year in your life. You know what you want to focus on. You know what's necessary. If you don't, that's not a problem. You still have the entire 2023 ahead. All you have to do is to get some time. I know a lot of you are very busy. Most of us are very, very busy. But if you find a moment, just as you should always make time to pray, talk to God about your problems and the things that you worry about, things that are weighing heavy on you, but also take time to contemplate the things that you want to achieve, things that really matter in 2023. Focus on those things, but identify them first. Mark Mayberg says, see how easily we get distracted from reality. Absolutely, absolutely. Gert Jansen van Rensburg, lekker om vir jou te sien. This is someone that I've met in person. Very nice, very friendly. Had a great chat with him. And yeah, I'm glad to see you are jumping in here. He says, good evening and happy new year to all and sundry. Sorry, notification only came through now. Well, that's unfortunate, but thank you very much for tuning in. Yes, as woodworkers often say, measure twice, cut once. Absolutely. I see R1 says, Conscious Caracal, are you looking to hire? I've lost 2 jobs now due to religion or morals. I was the top performer at both companies I was at. That's very unfortunate to hear, R1. The thing is, I don't really hire. This is my hobby. I unfortunately can't really hire in any capacity. I don't even pay myself. I don't even take super chats. So yeah. I'm very sorry. That's unfortunate to hear, but yeah, I hope that you find a job very quickly, and I will pray that you do. But yeah, keep focused. Get focused on what needs to be done and on what's important. But yeah, I'm very sorry to hear that, and I'm sorry that I can't help with work. Daniel van der Westhuizen says bonjour van Frankryk. Well, bonjour Daniel. Goeienaand. Omelette du fromage. All right. So, to wrap up, Mark Mayberg says, you have to have a vision, Adam. This is why we are your audience. Well, I'm glad I can inspire a vision. It's sometimes very humbling to read things like this because I can only share my thoughts. I try to be as little. I don't want to sound too prescriptive in what I say. It's like, you need to do this. This is the recipe for success and happiness. I just talk out of experience from my own life, what I've contemplated, the lessons I've learned also from overcoming challenges, and how I've grown. And if other people can learn from that, that's amazing. That's great. And then that's a very good use of my platform. That's very nice of you to say that. I hope I can give people at least a little bit of insight and maybe just inspire them to think about their problems in a different way. Petra says there's nothing wrong with in protecting your life and your loved ones and those who you know and surround you. Absolutely, you should be a protector of those that you love. Drew Perro says the fellow without a job. Maybe you could check the basket weavers. Well, Drew, maybe you should elaborate a bit more for him. I know where that is, but maybe you should tell him a bit about that. All right. So just to sum up, I think 2023 is going to be a a tough year for many people, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't so, but that's the feeling that I get, not just in South Africa, all across the world. And during this time, I want people to have that perspective of challenges are there to overcome, and that by overcoming them, you will grow as a person, you will become stronger, and you will develop, and you will come out the other side, at least, at the very least, with more self-respect that you can overcome these problems and that you weren't broken by your challenges. And yeah, like I said, I have my own resolutions. I hope that I can continue providing insights and ideas and perspectives in 2023 that you enjoy and that you find interesting and insightful. And yeah, and I will do my best to and focus on making a tangible difference. And I just realized that when I do my solo episodes like this, I don't need earphones. This is just for when I have a guest, but old habits die hard. I was sitting here with a earphone in my ear that keeps slipping out that I have to put back in. I didn't even have to have it in there. Yeah. Yeah, so it goes. So gaan het. Sharon asks, what is that species of dove? Kom hier so. He is a tumbler pigeon. So he's smaller than a carrier pigeon. He's smaller than just like the regular pigeon you find on the street. But they have this beautiful ritual that they do where when they fly in a flock, they tumble out of the air almost like they flex. They turn off their engines and they fall, and they turn the engine on again and they fly. Hey. And yeah, that's where they get their name. And people don't know why they do that. And scientists haven't been able to figure out why they do this ritual. Maybe it's a mating ritual. Maybe it's to establish a hierarchy. We don't know. But it's fascinating stuff. He doesn't do that though, because he's a little stoop pigeon. Hey, he's a little house pigeon. John E. Martin says, most pleasant and thought-provoking stream. Thank you, Aaron, for your steadiness and clear plans. Well, thank you very much, John. Bye, donkey. I'm glad to hear that. Confusion delays, and we watched you and didn't notice. Let's see here. Sardana Opinion says 2023 is certainly going to be tough. If you're going through hell, just keep on going. Yes. JS says, be interested to hear about, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to check. Reinier Aaron says, potty train. No. He'll leave little packages on my shoulder. But or on the ground. But he doesn't walk in the house the whole day. He spends the whole day outside. And just now it's actually far past his bedtime. That's why he's getting frustrated now. You can see he wants to go to bed. And I think he's also signaling that we've reached the end of the stream. Thank you very much for everyone that tuned in. Thank you very much for all of your questions, all of your comments. Thank you for leaving a like. I really appreciate it. And thank you also for sharing this episode with friends and family. Helps out the show. Thank you very much. Thanks for being with me in 2022 and being back here in 2023 to have another year ahead of us. And yeah, we'll see what the year brings. Stay focused, practice restraint, and don't have any patience or tolerance for the idolaters of the act. This Friday, I will be on Oren McIntyre's channel. Very excited for that. We're going to be talking about a time to move and a time to dig trenches. The little bit on the debate between Sargon and Peter Hitchens, and just some ideas surrounding identity, the immigration question. Should you leave when times get tough? Should you stay? Some of those things and dilemmas that for specifically Afrikaners have been fighting with and struggling with for a long time. So we're going to be talking about that. And yeah, I hope to see you there Friday at 12 Central Africa. 10 Central Africa time, 10 o'clock in the evening. And then, hey, okay, he's getting very restless now. And at 3 o'clock Eastern time in America. All right. I think that's the end of it now. He's not gonna tolerate even a minute more now. He's just saying, you said an hour. Well, yeah, so it's been an hour now. All right. So cheers, guys. Have a good one. All the best in 2023. I'll check you again next week, Tuesday, same time, 7 o'clock. I'll be talking to Chris Wyatt about Africa, the conflicts on the African continent, geopolitical situation of many African countries, what to expect, what countries to keep an eye on. And yeah, so look forward to that next week, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. And then Friday at 10 o'clock CAT, my chat on Oren McIntyre's channel. There's a link. I tweeted out the link just yesterday. You can check on my Twitter. All right. I think he's waiting now for the stream to end. So cheers, guys. Have a good one, and God bless.